Hi, this is Gail Nettles with Beaded Jewelry Diva, and today we are going to make a memory wire bracelet, nice and springy, and it has a couple dangles on it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the supply list to get started. Here are the supplies that you'll need for this particular project. You'll need a pair of round nose pliers, a pair of memory wire cutters, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in a minute, some memory wire, a selection of beads. I have everything from probably 4mm or 3mm beads all the way up to maybe 8mm, just your choice, whatever kind of bead you want. I also have some size 6 or size 8 C beads, and we'll use these as spacers. Now I want to go ahead and have a word with you about these cutters. These cutters are made only for memory wire. They are very, very thick, they're very sharp, and they are made to cut wire like this. Please, please, please do not use your normal cutters on this wire. Ask me how I know, as in I have ruined a pair of nice expensive cutters by using them on memory wire instead of something like this. So do look for a memory wire cutter or shear. Let's go ahead and get started. First thing that we want to go ahead and do is find the end of your wire, and let's see, here I've got it right here. Here's the end. Now what I want to do is I want to cut off around, but I want it to overlap some. So I've got the end here, and I want it to overlap a little bit, so I'm going to cut it like right here. And the reason why I'm letting it overlap is because I'm going to end up putting loops on each end of it, and I need to leave some room for the loops. So here I go with the cutter, snip, and there I go. So like you can see, I've got some overlap on each edge. Probably more of an overlap than I really needed, but it'll suit it for this purpose. Okay, now that I've got the memory wire cut, what we have to do is, if we tried stringing it on right like it is now, the beads would just fall off the other edge. So what we have to do is make a loop on one end. So I'm just taking my round nose pliers and I'm making a simple loop. Now keep in mind that this is a very, very stiff wire, and it's going to take a little bit more manhandling, so to speak, than regular wire would. So you can see here's a loop, and you may have to struggle with it to get it to be a nice closed loop like that, but it's really worth it at the end. Okay, so you've got a loop at this end. What do we do now? Now's the fun part. We get to go ahead and string beads. Now I'm going to open up my size 8 seed beads, and the reason I'm using some size 8s is because they're a nice size to use for spacers in between the larger beads. Now there is no particular pattern for the bracelet that I'm doing right here. If you want to string a specific pattern, you can. Right now all I'm doing is I am picking up a bead and I am putting it on the wire. And like I said, I don't particularly have any pattern in mind, other than I want to keep one seed bead in between each larger bead, and varying, I like to vary the size of the beads. I like to also keep colors varied, in other words, not always string the same colors next to each other. Personal preference, you can do it any way you want to. So you can see how I'm just going ahead and stringing along. Now I'll talk with you a little bit about color choice while I'm doing this. Color choice is something that, of course, is very personal to each person. And if you're like me, I struggled in the very beginning with choosing different colors. My palettes were very uninspired. They were like all blues or all greens. And not that anything like that is bad. Contrary, it can be absolutely gorgeous. But in my particular case, it spelled boring. just because of the way that I was using them. So what I did is I got myself, let's see if I can go find it, I got myself a color wheel. And this is a handy dandy little chart that tells you what colors look good with other colors so that there is a rhyme or reason. I will do a video, I think, about choosing colors at some point, but for right now I just wanted you to see that there is such a thing as a color wheel, and yes, it can help you. But meanwhile, we are continuing to string. And I'll tell you what, rather than you watch me string all these beads on, I'm going to go ahead and finish up this bracelet and show you how to finish up your bracelet. So give me a few minutes, I'll be right back, and you'll see the finished product and also how to finish yours. Back in a bit. Now I'm finished stringing all the beads I want, and I have, well, probably a little bit more than ½ inch or about ½ inch left. Now if you want to, I like to cut mine so it's a little bit less than ½ inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch, but there's no hard and fast rule about that. Then I've got the end of it. I'm just going to take my round nose pliers and make a closing loop. And that's it. I mean, that's how you go ahead and finish up one of these bracelets. It's very simple, very quick, very easy. Now if you want to put something a little extra on it, I've got a dangle that I've started. I've just strung on a head pin a few of the beads that I used in the bracelet, and I've already started my closed loop. I'm going to go ahead and string my head pin. I need to open that a little bit. String it on like that. Then go ahead and close the wrap loop. And I do have a video on wrap loops if you don't know how to make one. So I'm just starting that, and I'm going to grab another pair of pliers so I have a little bit of leverage. So got to be careful that you don't do like what I just did and try to go over the top of your pliers. There we go. You know, I always do this so easily when I'm not on camera, and as soon as I get on camera, I can't make a loop to save my life. Okay, so now I've gone ahead, and since this is on regular wire, so it's just a head pin on, I think this one's silver plated, I'm just taking my regular nippers, cutters, and I'm cutting it close. And again, this little dangle is regular wire. Then I'll go in and check that I don't have any tail sticking out, and that's it. Now we've got a little dangle on the end of it. Now you can put multiple dangles or leave it just with one dangle. I'll probably end up putting one more on this because I think this one looks kind of lonely. So tell you what, this is a good time to go ahead and explain how to do this. I've got my little stack of head pins, and that one is really bent. Let's not use that one. Here's one that's not quite so bent. So I'm just going ahead and I'm picking up a few of the beads. Again, no particular order, just picking them up. About one of these, and then maybe another small green one. So what I want to do is I want to have a different length. Okay, so I've just got a few on this time, and this will suit my purpose. So here we go. I'm making the wrap loop. So open it up just a little bit so I can get it on here without too much of an issue, hopefully. Like I said, I do this so easily when the camera's not rolling. Okay, so now that it's on, all I have to do is go ahead and finish the loop. So hold it, start the wrapping, say a few choice words. No, I'm not quite to that point yet. Okay. With memory wire, since it's real springy, it can get in your way just a little bit while you're doing this. But never fear, just take your time. And again, this is regular head pin wire, so I can use my regular cutters for this. And I got a little bit of a tail, so take care of that. And voila, we've got 2 dangles on it. And I think that looks a little bit better. It doesn't look quite so lonely with just the one. So there's another way of looking at it. And as to the question, yes, you can make multiple strand bracelets with this. Here's one that I did just a little while ago. It has 3 strands to it, and as you see, I do have 2 dangles hanging off the end of this. So that's something that's a little bit of a different look. And then here's the original. Now these really do work up very fast, and what's nice is that you can create a ton of these and wear them together. Why not? Well, I hope you've enjoyed this lesson on how to make a bracelet with memory wire. Thanks for stopping by. This is Gail Nettles with Beaded Jewelry Diva, and have a great day. Bye.